Hey guys, Mapletail here. Today is my review of the newest super edition in the Warrior Cat series, Onestar's Confession. So spoiler warning for the entire book. Before I get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. As usual, this isn't a formal review, just my thoughts chapter by chapter of anything I felt like talking about. I've already read and talked about the first 3 chapters, so we'll be jumping right into chapter 4. We start off back in Two Leg Place about 2 moons later, and apparently even Ashpaw was persuaded to come this time. I'm pretty surprised considering how much trouble they got in last time. And Smoke is now among the kitty pets hanging around the warriors. One Paw describes her as pretty for the millionth time, so even if you weren't aware of their future, it's getting pretty obvious at this point. And we also meet Nutmeg? Isn't Firestar's mother? I had to wiki it to make sure, as I was pretty shocked. But I guess the timeline does match up. Very cool. Don't love that One Paw and Brush Paw are just making up stories to tell the kitty pets. But they are just kids trying to sound impressive. Back with Wind Clan, we learn that all 5 apprentices will be having their warrior assessments tomorrow. Which definitely seems too soon considering how poorly a few of them seem to be doing and with all the sneaking off. When Brushpaw and Tansypaw end up failing, it really does feel like they've been set up. Especially when we find out that they've been assessed when their mentors and Tallstar knew they were falling behind. That's really unfair and typically not how this works. There shouldn't be a strict time limit. And tons of clan-born cats have failed their first warrior's assessment, and don't get kicked out like Tallstar tried to do. And coming from Tallstar, it feels extra bad, considering that he knows what kitty pets can be capable of, considering his history with Jake. I'm sure he wouldn't have kicked him out if he had joined Wind Clan and wasn't perfect. But anyways, I'm glad that Brushpaw was able to convince the clan to give him another try, even if his sister decided to leave. And the whole Bailey thing. If she's been helpful in the medicine den, then why isn't she allowed to stay full-time too? She'd absolutely be an asset to the clan. It's so dumb. It is super cute that One Paw is such good friends with Brushpaw, and that he vows to help him become a warrior as he becomes One Whisker. When One Whisker and the rest of his patrol find trespassing Shadow Clan warriors, Brushpaw ends up badly wounded, and I had a sinking feeling that this was it for him. Reading on, it was. He never should have died there. He was with 3 strong warriors. They should have protected him. But his being a kitty pet did not kill him. The whole message that this book has been spreading so far of kitty pets not being able to be warriors is so ridiculous. Especially when Firestar shows up at the start of chapter 6. A former kitty pet and a formidable warrior. At least One Whisker admits that he was wrong about Brushpaw now that he knows Firestar. It does make sense now why One Whisker was drawn to the fiery warrior though, definitely reminding him of young Brushpaw. After a hunting patrol with Whitetail, she and One Whisker come home to everyone, looking for a missing Crowpaw. I recognized pretty quick that this must be the start of a new prophecy, and that Crowpaw has been called by StarClan to journey to the Sundrown Place. It was hilarious when the patrol reaching 4 trees, and upon sending cats from all the clans, One Whisker asks Ashfoot if Crowpaw has been patting after any cats from another clan. If only he knew that Crowpaw would end up doing just that. Twice. But that's pretty clearly not the situation here. One Whisker checks out Two Leg Place for any sign of Crowpaw, but he turns up empty-pawed. Well, except for a private walk with a flirty Smoke, which I'm sure won't cause any problems. After a hunt with Whitetail, 2 other warriors find a huge rabbit each, feeding most of Wind Clan, which turned out to be too good to be true, when everyone who ate the rabbits ended up sick from being poisoned. It was horrifying to read how Wind Clan was decimated by illness. One Whisker and Whitetail, the only able-bodied warriors for days, a line of bodies awaiting vigil and burial. It's no wonder Whitetail finally breaks down. But One Whisker is there to comfort her with love, which is a whole other kind of terrible. I didn't realize that he and Whitetail had feelings for each other before One Whisker had a child with Smoke. Also gross on another level because Whitetail was his apprentice. Yikes. It's all just really skeevy. Well, the part about Smoke, at least that's what I assumed, because we have barely seen anything between her and One Whisker. But when he went to Two Leg Place to say goodbye and choose Whitetail as his mate, Smoke yelled at him, saying that they were in love, which comes a little bit out of nowhere. I guess that walk was more intimate than I imagined, if that's when Darktail was supposed to be conceived. And this really is it for these two. Like, why did we barely get to see any relationship and chemistry? What does he even like about her, aside from her being pretty and impressed by his exaggerated stories? Ugh. We do see her briefly in the next chapter, but One Whisker is really rude to her, and doesn't even let her get a word out before telling her to go away. She was absolutely there to tell him that she was expecting kits. To be fair to One Whisker, he did just lose his father to an infected rat bite earlier that chapter, so a little rudeness can be forgiven. When Smoke is finally able to speak to One Whisker, she does indeed tell him that she's pregnant, and that she'd like the kits to be raised in WindClan. One Whisker, unfortunately, refuses, setting in motion a terrible future that would end with Onestar and his son's deaths, along with the deaths of all of Darktail's victims. Which is a lot. When One Whisker sees Smoke next, she's snuggled up with her one surviving kit, having had to give birth alone. It's honestly heartbreaking. I wish One Whisker had done more for her, or done literally anything for her. But back with WindClan, Crowpaw returns from his journey. It was a bit annoying to see One Whisker judge him so harshly before even hearing why he left. And when Tallstar chooses One Whisker to accompany him to the Moonstone, you can tell by his words that he's already considering switching his choice of deputy. Maybe it wasn't the spur-of-the-moment decision that it seemed. It is interesting to see an outside perspective of this part of the new prophecy, hearing the story of the journey to the Sundrown Place from Crowpaw, and all of WindClan's reactions. The next section was very intense and exciting, with WindClan being driven out of their home from two-leg monsters. Going to ThunderClan for help, only to have Tawny Pelt come and beg for aid when ShadowClan is surrounded by monsters, and all four clans have to come together and save them. I was especially excited to see my old favorite ShadowClan cats, Russet Fur and Tall Poppy, again. And it was great to see a bit of young Squirrelpaw. Best of all, the clans deciding to leave the forest and go and find their new home in the Lake Territories. But before all that, we get one more visit from Smoke and a young Darktail, who Smoke tells us that she named Darkkit, the way a clan cat would, hoping to join One Whisker after her two legs' death. I was a bit bothered by the fact that Darkkit is already being built up as a villain, the anger in his eyes unsettling One Whisker. We've already seen this thing a couple times before, a kit seeming to be born evil, or showing signs of an evil future very, very young, like Broken Star and Tiger Star. I just kind of feel bad for the little guy. Like he never even had a chance, even if One Whisker had taken him in. Speaking of, I still really wish he had agreed to take Smoke and Darkkit to WindClan. He seems so back and forth on whether or not kitty pets can be warriors, like when he talks about Brushpaw versus Firestar. It's just kind of frustrating to read and inconsistent. While I understand his reasoning for not wanting to subject Smoke and his son to the danger of the journey, it's also pretty clear that a big reason for why he rejects Smoke is because he wants this all to stay a secret, especially from Whitetail. And I don't like it. And Smoke has every right to be angry, and to threaten outing One Whisker's secrets. And then he lies to her, saying that he will come back to Two Leg Place to see her after the clans find a new home. It's horrible. She says that she'll teach Darkkit to hate him and the clans if he breaks this promise to her. One Whisker really screwed up here, and is partially directly responsible for the deaths of countless cats in A Vision of Shadows. The last line of the chapter annoyed me. One Whisker saying that whatever he does, he will betray someone. Either his clan or Smoke and Dark Kit. But to me, he's already betrayed all three. On the journey, it was heartwarming to see all the clans as one. One Whisker describing how all the kits played together, so cute. The cats reach the lake territories much faster than I thought, and we get to see the first lake gathering scene for the third time. The other two being in the New Prophecy and in Winds of Change. I don't mind seeing new scenes from new perspectives, but I feel like I just read this story. I hope they don't dwell on this bit too long. It didn't end up being too bad, and at least we got a bit of new info, like a confrontation and near fight between Mudclaw and One Whisker, and we learn that Ashfoot knows about Dark Kit and Smoke, and agrees not to share this with Whitetail. Ugh. She deserves to know about something like this about her mate. Where's the trust and communication? I do love a good 9 Lives ceremony though, and this one is no exception. I was especially happy to see Brushpaw. His addition to the ceremony was really cute and stood out to me, with how chatty he was and how nervous he was about messing it up. It was just really nice to see him. The next cat I recognized from description alone, none other than Windstar. That was really special. And I'm glad that we're getting to see more and more done of the clan's rep, perhaps in preparation for Riverstar's Super Edition, the one I was hoping to be reading this year. And we see Gorestar and Gorespaw too. Amazing. And now we have 1 star. It was really frustrating to see the whole change in 1 star's treatment of Firestar again. I do rationally understand why he changed, and I think this book does a decent job of showing his struggle with it, but it still hurt to see that friendship die like that. Getting to see a baby Heather kit was wonderfully bittersweet. 1 star thinks about how he didn't realize he could love this tiny kit so much. As if he didn't have a son he abandoned. Yikes, dude. I also didn't know that Heathertail had a sibling who died as a kit. Gale Kit. Such a cute and WindClanny name. And a shame we'll never get to know her. It was so sweet that Firestar and Leafpool came to congratulate 1 star on his daughter, and offered herbs for Whitetail. 1 star seemed touched, but still rejected the herbs, even though WindClan is low on them. Thinking the words, "Put WindClan first." How the hell is this putting WindClan first? Medicine cats share herbs all the time, and this was clearly nothing but a kind gesture. And still, rejection. This is why I find this era of WindClan a bit tough to swallow. We get a pretty significant time skip to after the Great Battle, and into the time of Crowfeather's trial. I'll admit I was pretty disappointed not to get to see much bonding between 1 star and Heathertail during her childhood, but what are you gonna do? While I don't love so much retreading through old plots, it was interesting to learn that 1 star had refused Bramblestar's help with the Stoats because he feared that the ThunderClan leader knew of his secrets. And even more interesting, 1 star announces that he will be staying at the Moonpool for a couple days to commune with StarClan. Which is a lie. His real plan is to travel to the Old Forest to see Smoke and Dark Kit. Earlier in the book, it was said that it would take a moon. How is he going to get away with this? And how is this the first we're hearing of it? I was shocked when he actually made it the whole way there, and pretty sad when he got nothing but bad news. When he met with Melody. Not only had Bailey died, but Smoke had too. And Darktail, by the sounds of it, is well on his way to a path of villainy. Getting kicked out of his 2-leg home, and killing another kitty pet. He returns to WindClan empty-handed and gets away with more lies. This guy. The next chapter is during the time of A Vision of Shadows, based on the mention of Violet Kit and Twig Kit and the prophecy around them. Onestar's granddaughter, the unfortunately named Smokekit, goes missing. They manage to find her, but learn that she was taken by a white cat. Pretty obviously Darktail. Onestar absolutely should have confided in Crowfeather about the truth when he asked. Crowfeather is one of the only cats who would probably even understand, with what his history with Feathertail and Leafpool. But no, even with the threat of danger to the most vulnerable members of the clan, Onestar sticks to his lies. After the white cat drops a large branch on Onestar and Fernpaw is attacked, Onestar vows to stop being hunted and become the hunter. The white cat is revealed to of course be Darktail, when a group of rogues is stopped at the border. Onestar is finally able to meet his now adult son and have a one-on-one conversation with him. Darktail blames Onestar for Smoke's death, which honestly kind of valid, and called him a selfish coward. Again, pretty accurate. It seems like Fur's Pelt overheard a bit too much and attacked Darktail in anger, causing a very disadvantaged battle. It was awesome to see that Onestar decided to lead the fight into ThunderClan territory and get the other clan's aid, which he did. Super satisfying after so much refusal to cooperate. While they win the battle with ThunderClan's help, a confused and sorrowful Fur's Pelt dies from her wounds, never to learn the secrets of her leader. At least until she reaches StarClan. Still, very frustrating. Then we get into retreading of the bulk of A Vision of Shadow's plot. Darktail's kin settling outside of ShadowClan, some of ShadowClan's apprentices and Violet Kit joining them, etc. Rowenstar didn't even seem to care that Violet Kit was taken by Needlepaw, which is just disturbing. Special or not, she's just a child who deserves protection. And I know it only goes downhill from here. In more ways than one. In the next chapter, there are errors galore. From calling Tigerheart Tigerstar and ShadowClan ThunderClan. Yikes. And Onestar's cruelty towards the ShadowClan cats, especially Violet Kit, comes off as really harsh, even when we know his reasons. They just needed some herbs. He should have helped them, instead of twisting Tallstar's words of putting WingClan first. Tallstar would never have acted this way. It was awesome to see the usually gentle Leafpool standing up to him about it at the next gathering, though. Good for her. And Onestar wasn't even right about giving the herbs to ShadowClan, meaning Darktail would be stronger. It was just the opposite. Since the sickness ravaged their deputy and leader, the terrified clan had to look for new leadership in Darktail. Sharing the herbs may not have prevented everything, but it sure could have helped. So much retreading. This is just starting to feel a bit like a long-winded recap. One moment I did like was during the battle to try to retake ShadowClan. We get to see Onestar and Darktail's fight, and hear Darktail's whispered words, telling his father that if he kills his son after abandoning him, he will most certainly earn a place in the Dark Forest. Which causes Onestar to make WingClan retreat out of fear and cowardice. First off, we've literally seen this with the cat before, who left her son and killed him. Yellowfang. And she had no problem making it into StarClan. Now, betraying the other clans by fleeing is a far worse sin in my opinion. As if Onestar didn't feel guilty enough, Bramblestar comes in to bring news of SkyClan. And Onestar learns that him leaving his son led to the near destruction of a clan he didn't even know existed. I feel bad for him, sure. But it's hard when he acts so on the defensive and pushes everyone away and just keeps making mistake after mistake to cover up something that happened moons ago. Next up is a part of the series that still haunts me. Darktail's takeover of my precious river clan. They did nothing to deserve this kind of suffering that Darktail inflicts on them. And I don't think Misty Star ever recovered from it, considering where her character arc went after this. I still mostly blame the writers for that one, though. I was happy to see Curlfeather again, after getting so attached to her in River. And at least this seems to be Onestar's final straw in staying out of the conflict. After another battle with Darktail, and him taunting the clans about Onestar's secret, the Wind Clan leader finally comes clean. Oh, and Sky Clan is back, which feels super anticlimactic in this book. But I get it. I was far more interested in the scene that followed. Whitetail and Heathertail's reaction. And they gave him nothing but love. It was so heartwarming and so bittersweet. If only Onestar had trusted Whitetail with his secret, everything could have been different. Like Whitetail said, they could have worked something out. She wouldn't have just left him. Now we come to where the book began. Onestar bravely giving his life to kill Darktail, drowning them both beneath the lake, and saving the clans. We cut back to Onestar awaiting news of whether or not he will make it into StarClan, reflecting on his life. As much of a problem as I have with this cat, I was glad when Tallstar told him that he made it. And I thought it was hilarious and so sweet that one of Onestar's first thoughts was that he would get to see Firestar again, and get a chance to mend their broken friendship. Just a really nice end to a bit of a difficult book. Last thing, the manga. I was so happy it was a Onestar and Firestar scene. I really needed that closure. Love that Firestar still gets ominous, pathetic dreams, even in StarClan. And the one he describes to Onestar must be the whole mess in the Broken Code. A problem for another day. The book finishes out with Hairstar's 9 Lives ceremony, and Onestar gives him the perfect life that sums up all his mistakes. A life for honesty. Thanks for watching. What a roller coaster. As much as I complained, I did overall enjoy the book, and thought it provided some valuable insight on Onestar's choices in the series. I did think it could get a bit recappy at points, and I wish Onestar and Smoke's relationship days had a lot more focus, as that was a major plot point, and ended up basically affecting all of Onestar's choices. But there you have it. If you've given this book a read, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I'll see you next Thursday.